Dallas Cowboys, of course, had a huge offseason. Will Brinson, Ryan Wilson, John Breech here with some team needs and a look ahead at what the Dallas Cowboys will do this offseason as part of our Pick Six Podcast YouTube Spectacular Team Needs. Mike McCarthy, hired by the Dallas Cowboys. Fun fact, he told Jerry Jones during the interview process he watched every single play of the 2019 season, and then during his press conference, Breech said that he actually lied to Jerry Jones and he didn't watch every single play of the 2019 season. Mike McCarthy, good hire, bad hire, right hire, wrong hire? What do you think?
I actually love the hire. I know little people might feel like, hey, why are we keep bringing these recycled guys? Let's bring in some new blood. I'm sure there's some Cowboys fans who want to go the college route and grab Matt Rule or Lincoln Riley. But I am a fan of this, and I'm a fan of saying whatever you need to say in your job interview to get the job. For anyone out there who has a job interview coming up, go the Mike McCarthy route, say what needs to be said, and then get in there and crush it. And you know what? We saw what Mike McCarthy did with a young Aaron Rodgers. I know that things kind of soured towards the end of their relationship, 2017, 2018. That offense wasn't hot as it used to be. But if you look back at the beginning, 2008, 2009, 2010, when they won the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers put up some of his best numbers, best time of his career. So when you think that that is going to be the guy, that Mike McCarthy is going to be working with Dak Prescott, I love this.
We're going to do a podcast at some point in the future that compares the press conferences, because I think Matt Rule, by any measure, won it. He was up there sermonizing, he wanted to run through a brick wall. Then you look at Mike McCarthy's press conference. His suit was a little too tight. Jerry was really fired up. And I thought it was sort of weird. At one point in the press conference, Mike McCarthy said, Jason Garrett, he's done a fantastic job here. Jason Garrett just got fired. He wasn't doing that great of a job. So you're replacing him, and Breech sort of touched on it. It starts with Dak Prescott. What are you going to do there? Amari Cooper, what are you going to do there? And the other free agents and the draft things. But I'll let you reset it, Brinson, before I give you my draft takes about Amari and possibly Dak as issues number one and number two.
Well, first of all, let's dive into their offensive team needs. I think you could argue that the three biggest offensive needs are, kind of shocking, frankly. Quarterback is number one. Dak Prescott not under contract right now. That should be a concern to Mike McCarthy, to Jerry Jones, to Stephen Jones, to little Jimmy Jones, to Jason Jones, whoever else, any member of the Jones family. They should all be worried that Dak Prescott's not under contract. Mainly because if they don't sign him, then they can't sign Amari Cooper. If they do sign him, they tag Dak, they can't sign Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, that's the number two concern for me. Wide receiver. Cooper had almost 1,200 yards again last season and 8 touchdowns, but he wasn't good he was good at home, but not good away. Michael Gallup really stepped up. So who fills the role? Does Michael Gallup become the number one wide receiver? Does Amari Cooper move into free agency? What do you do with those there? And then tight end. How do you handle this situation, Breech? You got Jason Witten there. Do you just keep riding the Witten guy, or, do you try and go find a tight end in free agency?
No, you do not keep riding the Jason Witten train. That guy, if he's not going to retire after this season, he's got at most one more year in him. I think you need to go find another tight end. I know we saw Blake Jarwin step up towards the end of the year, and he's actually been very capable. But you definitely, the Cowboys are the type of team that does need 2 tight ends. And although Mike McCarthy is not Jason Garrett, he's going to bring in his own offense. I do think it will be interesting to see the new offensive philosophy that Mike McCarthy brings to Dallas, because he studied analytics over the past year. He's been studying how to mold his offense so that it'll run better going forward. So I do think this is going to be a fascinating thing to watch this offseason with McCarthy running the show.
Brinson, you may not know this, but I am the NFL draft guy here at CBS Sports. So I'll take a little draft angle right here, talking about the offensive needs with the Dallas Cowboys. They have the 17th pick. That won't change unless they move up or down. And we're talking about quarterbacks. Look, they're keeping Dak. There's no way that's not happening. They're not drafting a quarterback. If something goes horribly wrong and Dak Prescott moves to the moon or something and they have no other choice, then maybe they'll think about someone at 17. Justin Herbert might be an option there, but you don't want to do that. I didn't want to think about it. Neither do Cowboys fans. But in terms of wide receivers, look, even if Amari comes back, and I feel like he probably will, he has to get healthy, and that's when he's at his best. You can draft someone like Henry Ruggs III out of Alabama. He's going to run a 4.3 at the combine. He might even run faster than that. Some people are saying we'll see about that. But he is absolutely explosive. Another guy that I absolutely love is Jalen Ray out of TCU. He's smallish. Didn't put up a lot of production at TCU this year. That's because their QB is not very good. And if you're looking for a downfield Big play target, a guy who can high point the ball. T. Higgins makes some sense as well. He's 6'4". He's going to play on Monday night in that championship game. Get a little sneak peek at him there. Tight ends are also something else to consider. We talked about Jason Witten, bald or no bald. I don't think he's going to play anymore. And if you want to replace the tight end, you can certainly do that in the middle of the first round. Might be a tad early. I love Hunter Bryant out of Washington, who played with Jacob Eason this year. He's an athletic guy, sort of like Evan Ingram for the Giants. And also love Cole Kmet, Brady Quinn's guy at Notre Dame, who reminds me a lot of Kyle Rudolph. So there's some names to watch out for in the coming weeks and months. And I'll circle back to the defense after you guys give me your thoughts on the current players on the Cowboys roster.
Well, it's a pretty crazy, Ryan, because for the first time since 2014, it's not going to be Rod Marinelli, the longtime Jerry Jones favorite as defensive coordinator. It's Mike Nolan, which is exciting. I don't know. There's sort of a pause for effect. Like, congratulations, you got Mike Nolan. Like, that's why you got Mike McCarthy to bring in Mike Nolan. He's going to think new, innovative. Just kidding. He's really rolling it back to the past. Breech, what are the biggest needs on the defensive side of the ball for the Cowboys?
Well, I would start on the defensive line just because it feels like everyone there is going to be a free agent. Mike Nolan's going to have to go in there, make a list of guys they want to keep, make a list of guys they want to sign, because you look at Robert Quinn has his contract expiring. I think there's multiple guys, Kerry Hyder, Christian Covington, both have their contracts expiring. So there are a lot of decisions that have to be made on the defensive line. And if you're the Cowboys, if you're Mike Nolan, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, are we going to try and re-sign these guys that are already on the team? Or are we going to go try and make a move in free agency? Or are we going to move towards the draft? So I think the defensive line is going to be a position group that the Cowboys, you need to watch out for if you're a Cowboys fan. And also safety. There are a lot of questions at safety. For the past year, 2 years, they've been gambling. They've had a 6th round, a 7th rounder in Xavier Woods and Donovan Wilson. They have a bunch of safeties who are going to be free agents this offseason also. Jeff Heath, Kevon Frazier, and Darian Thompson. So you're talking about 2 position groups where we have 6 to 8 players who are all heading toward free agency. So the first thing that Mike Nolan is going to have to do once he is in Frisco down at the Star, he's going to have to go into Mike McCarthy's office, and they're going to have to sit down and say, all right, who are we keeping, who are we getting rid of?
Yeah, so let's look at the draft needs on the defensive side of the ball as Brinson shakes his head. So they need help with safety. Breech just mentioned Jeff Heath's out of a contract, but they need help on the back end. Byron Jones is also, his situation is up in the air. Xavier McKinney out of Alabama is a guy that I love. He's going to be a first-round target. He just declared for the draft in early January. Another guy that is crazy good that no one's talking about. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in December, so we don't know what his status is yet. Hamza Najruddin out of FSU. They didn't have a great season, but he is a mini Derwin James, 6'4", 215. He flies all over the place. We'll wait and see whether he declares or decides to return. Before he got injured, he was sort of climbing up people's draft boards and into their minds. Another guy to watch is Grant Delpit out of LSU. We'll see how his Monday night championship game goes and his sort of pre-draft process. Struggled with tackling, had an ankle injury in 2019, but he was safety 1 coming into this season. Also something to keep an eye out for are the defensive linemen. Michael Bennett's out of a contract. Neville Gallimore is a guy to Oklahoma to keep an eye on in the middle of that defense. And Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina, if he drops, he's the best pass rusher in this draft class. If he's there at 17, Jerry Jones, Jonathan Jones, Steven, whoever, one of the Joneses needs to sprint to the podium and make sure they start his name.
So good news for the Cowboys. All they have to do is replace their quarterback, replace their wide receiver, bring in some more help at the tight end position, and fix 2 levels of their defense as a whole new coaching staff comes in. Should be easy peasy for you, Jerry Jones. Get moving.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.